Hey everyone, it's Brian with GreyWolf Towers. So this video is going to be about this motherboard. Now, it does have a label on it which just kind of destroys the appeal of kind of like having it as a display somewhere, but that's Amazon for you. They do tend to do that a lot, and it's one of the things that I hate the most about Amazon. But this particular board is the A320M-A Pro Max, and the A320M means that it's an A320 motherboard for the AMD. The -A Pro is just their model of this particular board. The Max, however, shows that it's not just the standard A320M-A Pro. It's the one that's got all of the stuff set up so that it's ready to go for the 3000 series, which is actually mentioned on the box as well. It says AMD Ryzen 3000 compatible, or ready rather, sorry. So I'm going to go ahead and share this with everyone. So inside the box, we get our I/O shield. So it gives you the input-output shield for the back. Looks like it gives 2 cables for SATA cables. We also get a single M.2 screw for the motherboard, so we can put an M.2 drive in. Comes with a nifty little Dragon logo MSI badge for the case badge. Always love case badges. It's got the disc of the drivers for the motherboard, which honestly with Windows 10 you don't need. It's got a little thank you message for purchasing from MSI, and then the quick install directions, which for a beginner are great. They do help a lot. I do not see, however, an actual manual, so that would be something you'd have to download off the internet if you want more in depth than whatever is included in the quick guide. And honestly, I don't typically use the quick guides or the manuals very often. So here is the actual board itself. Now, on the board itself, the only really disappointing items that I see right away is here it's only got one M.2 slot, so that's one thing that's kind of a negative. Typically these days most motherboards come with 2. The other thing is that although this is rated and capable according to AMD themselves, it can run a stock Ryzen 9 3950X. It only has a single CPU power connector. It doesn't have the 2 4-pin connector like a higher end board would have. Another thing is that they split the Sata ports. Here's 3 and 4 from the looks of it, and then 1 and 2 are over here. Now these 2 here will be great because when it's sitting in a case, it will typically sit like this, and those SATA cables can come up underneath and connect there. These ones may be slightly blocked by a video card, for instance, if it's one of the beefier ones. It does have the standard 24-pin connector. It's got a CPU cooler up here, so you'll plug your CPU cooler into the socket here. You'll plug the CPU fan up there. I do see a sysfan 1, and I do not see a sysfan 2. So it looks like there's only the 1 fan connector, so if you do want to use more than 1 rear fan, you will be needing to do a splitter on it so that it can split the fan header. Everything looks nice, neat. It is a brand new board I just ordered from Amazon, just came in. It does include USB 3 as well as USB 2. It looks like 2 USB 2 connections. It's got your audio jack, so it's got everything you'd need for a standard setup. It has 1 PCI Express 16 slot and then 1 X1 slot. It only has 2 DIMM slots, but today for a budget board that's give or take about 60 bucks, that's actually not too bad. It's pretty average for that. Overall, I think the board looks pretty high quality. On the bottom, you have the back plate to the CPU, which is removable by removing the 4 screws here and then these 2 brackets. Now these 2 brackets are used for the Athlon series chips. Like if you were to get an A8 9600, that would use these brackets for the CPU cooler. For any of the Ryzen coolers, except Ryzen 7 series had some Wraith Max coolers that would sit over these as well. but all the Ryzen 3, 5, they do not use these. You'd remove these 4 screws and 2 brackets and keep the backplate in place, and you would actually screw the cooler directly into it. And that's something we can go over. Yeah, you can either watch my previous video, I'll see about linking that up here, and that is where I installed a CPU and CPU cooler and RAM. Very similar setup. And so yeah, overall it's just a simple to do board. Honestly, most people won't need anything else for a majority of stuff. It does include 2 of the older Ps2 slots, which is really odd that they have 2 of them. Most of the boards that I see nowadays either have none, or they'll have one that can do both, like one or the other of the 2, keyboard and mouse. And then it'll also have like 1 or 2 USB slots, so it's kind of odd that it has 2 ports for that. It does include a DVI port and an HDMI port. No display ports or DP ports. These are only going to work, however, if you have a CPU that has integrated graphics, such as one of those Athlons like the A8 9600, or if you have a Ryzen 3 2200G or a Ryzen 5 2400G, 3200G, 3400G. Those CPUs are the only ones that are going to be able to use these here. Aside from that, the board's pretty standard. Doesn't look like it has any bells and whistles. Does have the 4 USB 3 ports, 2 USB 2 ports, an Ethernet jack, which should be the 10-100-1000, which is also known as gigabit, and then it's got your input outputs for the sound. So overall, just a budget board, about 60 bucks give or take, including tax for me. I do typically turn these around and sell them for about 60 bucks when I sell them. So I'm looking forward to building with this and giving you all a view of a system using this. The YouTube community tab that I have has been asking questions about parts to use in the system, and I think I'm just going to end up using this board here, and so you'll get a little bit closer of a look with it when I do that. So anyway, I hope this video was educational or informative, and if not, at least entertaining. If it was any of those, please make sure you hit the like button down below so that I know that. As always, if you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, hit the subscribe button that I'm going to put up here, and that way you can keep up to date on our new videos and our community tab. And then, as always, make sure you send us a comment down below if you have any questions about the product, the channel, myself. Thanks for watching, and have a great day. Bye for now.